All right. Barak Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. All right. The name of this one is it's a if Trump isn't Nero, Emperor Nero. And this is based off of a video that the Elder Karatas I did out in Vegas. And pretty much I just want to land back off of it, say a few words, and bring out a couple of things that I ran across. And then, you decide. No, this is a float, I guess you could call it, that was reared up in a parade in Italy. It said Italy creates God Emperor Trump for parade. Now, the reason why, or the inspiration for this video came from a video I was watching here. This is the Crossroads with Joshua Phillip. I put this in the description box. Trump's big law and order plan. And I was listening to this a little earlier. I just clicked on it, see what they were saying concerning the law and order. And then I ran across this part here where, Emperor Nero Trump wants to, on the 250th anniversary of America, so-called, on Independence Day, July 4th, he wants to celebrate that. I'm gonna let the guy speak. He'll explain it a little better. But they want to throw celebrations, on the accomplishments of America, and some of the things they want to celebrate in the accomplishments are pretty much these technological advances that they're bringing out. Now you have Elon Musk, which is going to be the head of a new department that they're creating for the American government. I forget the name of it. I've saw it a couple of times, but so many departments and law and words and different acronyms and everything to remember. I can't remember it right now. So I'm gonna play this video and let you see that this is similar to what Emperor Nero did, when he was in office, and pretty much he was taking people out and he was celebrating accomplishments. He was the reason why the Roman public loved him so much, because he catered to the average people. He catered to the people. He threw lavish parties. He did, he built a lot of different things, and he just pretty much he pretty much won the hearts of the people. Okay. So let's play this and let's go. Let's see where the spirit goes. Just say a few words and bring out like 2 precepts and then close out on that. So listen up. Let me know if you can hear it. Let me know if you can hear it. Let me know if you could hear. Babakusha. You should be able to, but it's always it's always good to get a thumbs up, that you could hear it. So here we go.
Fix these problems? I mean, I don't know.
Fair use, fair use, fair use. I don't own the content of this video. I'm just using it for educational purposes. I'm not making any money off of it, So just for the record, it's just for educational purposes. The water for letting me know.
I don't think we've seen anything like this before. I don't think we've ever seen this attempted before, but they're saying they're going to try to do it. We'll see whether it works. Again, you tell me if you think it's going to work or not. Again, I do read the comments. I think it's going to be interesting discussion at the very least. On that note, they're going to be ending it.
There we go, right here. On that note,
July 4th of 2026, right? 4th of July. And that's going to be interesting as well, because 2026 is going to be the 150th anniversary of the United States. Or sorry, 250th anniversary of the United States. And Trump says for the 250th anniversary of the United States, he wants like a several-month celebration. Trump is going to have an America celebration for the 250th birthday of our country. And he wants to even bring back like the fairs and stuff, where you have all these technological advancements and showing off the accomplishments of America. The World Fair, he wants to bring that back, but like the America Fair, that'll be a big thing happening at that time. And that seems to align as well with the Doge department. They're going to conclude on Independence Day 2026. Michael Florence, you're saying,
okay,
the government needs to be accountable.
So you heard it. You can go back and watch it. It's around the hour, about the 59-minute mark or so. If you want to start a little before that. It was very short, but I happened to catch it. And I say, you know what? If I could find all the good info that I need, I'll bring it out. So as you seen in the beginning, they have a float of, about to say Nero, which he is Nero in the reincarnation, we believe. This is Italy creates God Emperor Trump for parade, and this is, proof that he is, who the spirit has, beginning with Elder Pastor said that he is, now you could believe it or not. You could say, oh, that's just a coincidence or whatever the case may be. That's fine. But nevertheless, this is, no, we don't have that long, too much torturing here. Yeah, well, the scriptures say that, no man knows the day or the hour. So we know we're close, but, it would be nice if it would be taken out before that. I'm just showing you and reporting to you what's going on in the news with this guy Trump, the presidential candidate, or should I say the elected president, or however the term goes. All right. So, we don't know. Hopefully 2025 will be the year where this place is destroyed and the Lord delivers us from here, because it is wicked. This place is wicked. All right. So you heard, what the guy said. So what I did was I typed in, did Nero celebrate his accomplishments? And I was reading a little bit of this, not much. I put this in the description box also, speaking about how he murdered his mother, so on and so forth. He tried to set her up by, having her sinking a ship, and then she swam to shore. So that didn't happen. So he had some individuals come club her, however the case may be. They killed her. So then it says Nero celebrated by staging yet wilder orgies and by creating 2 new festivals of chariot racing and athletics. So similar to Trump, even though it doesn't have anything to do with Trump's mother, but Trump is, wanting to, bring celebrations during so-called 2026, Day of Independence, July 4th. And, he wants to celebrate America, her achievements, technological achievements, which goes into the scriptures, which we're going to get that real quick, in the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 4. These are technological advancements that were given to this man, these technological advances are pretty much destroying the earth. And that's why the Lord is one of the reasons why he's going to visit these devils for the things that they've done to destroy the earth. Okay. So it says, but thou, Daniel, shut up the words and sealed the book, even to the time of the end. What book is that speaking about? The Bible. And the Bible is a book of mysteries, parables, dark sayings. And there's a reason why it was like that. Because if the Lord would have made it obvious what it was talking about, the Bible would have never seen the day of light past, the inception of America. Just like they made a slave Bible, they would have made another type of Bible where a lot of this stuff would have been scrubbed from it. If it would have straight up came out and said America is Babylon the Great, it's spiritually known as Egypt and Sodom. If they would have said America, the people that would be running America today, known as Babylon the Great, are the Edomites. If it would have came out straight up like that, they would have got rid of the Bible. And that's why it was written in metaphors and signs and symbols and mysteries. And that's why the Lord said, the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So it says, so the book was sealed to the time of the end. Then when the true prophets came out, then they started, to flourish and started to open the mysteries to what we see today. It says, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And what is that knowledge? The technological age. Because never in the history of man has there ever been a time where the technology and the infrastructure that is out there today has ever been accomplished. You may have had ideas of flight, you may have had ideas of many different things, you know, but never have they had the technology and the infrastructure, that they have today, with all of these technological accomplishments, which DJ Trump wants to, you know, um, celebrate during this time of the 250th anniversary of America, which empires on the whole last about 250 years, and that's why America is losing its grip. Now, I had an argument, or not an argument. I had an individual that come on the comment board on one of my videos and said something along the lines that America is not Babylon the Great. So I asked him. I said, "So what other nation on the planet made the earth rich?" Which I didn't. I guess he was answering to somebody else. He said Saudi Arabia, and I was like, "No, that's not true, because Saudi Arabia only made rich those, those people that were in that region. Like it says, like if you type it in, what countries were made rich by Saudi Arabia, it'll tell you Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates." And all of that was backed by what? Something called the petrodollar. So pretty much, you know, America is that leading force. And I even type online, even though America is waning, it's in its waning years. I typed in the Google search, did the U.S. make the world rich? And it says, yes, the United States has played a significant role in the world's economic growth and wealth, and is still a major economic power today. And that's why all nations bring their ships and their goods here to America. So I mean, I guess I thought he was answering to me, but he was answering to somebody else about the Saudi Arabia thing. Because he said, the other brother asked, where is Babylon the Great? He says Saudi Arabia. So he's dead wrong there too, because Saudi Arabia, once again, did not make the world rich. They, with the, finding of the oil, I believe that was back in 1938, they made rich those, for lack of better words, Islamic states in that region. Okay? That's it. They didn't make the world rich. All nations are not going there to sell their wares and to get rich. And it gives you a list of all of these wares when you go to the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter. And that did not happen. And it's not happening in Saudi Arabia. And it definitely is not happening at the Vatican. Okay? So knowledge is increased. This is why Donald Trump, which is they have a float of him at a parade in Italy as God Emperor Trump. And Elder Pastor has been saying that this guy is Nero coming back in the reincarnation, and he looks just like Nero. There's pictures when he was younger, which brothers have. They mirrored it side by side, and they look damn near exactly the same. But as Elder Pastor points out, Nero had the chin beard, which Trump doesn't. All right, so here in this article, it says Nero celebrated by staging yet wilder orgies and creating, and they still do this today. Don't think, Trump, in these celebrations, they're not going to have these things because, well, yeah, of course, in the public eye, they won't have it, but behind the scenes, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. So you can't say what's going on behind the scenes. It says, and by creating 2 new festivals of chariot racing and athletics. So these were what? 2 new festivals of chariot racing and athletics. They were new festivals. They were introduced to the Roman Empire. Now, this thing that Trump is doing, he's celebrating, the technological achievements of America, which has never been done in any other presidential election, the things that they're about to do. So things that Nero did, Trump is mirroring, even though it's not the same exact thing. Because remember, we're in two different eras. This technology that we have today and the infrastructure of the technology did not exist during the Roman Empire, but they did achieve a lot of monumental achievements, such as the Appian Way. Those roads, they had heated floors, tile floors. They had a lot of technological things, but not on the scale that it is today. And I'm talking about Rome, but not on the scale that America has today. Why? Because America is pretty much the revival of the ancient Roman Empire. It says, Salaki, for a minute, let me go back here. Okay. It says, he also staged musical contests, which gave him further chance to demonstrate in public his talent for singing while accompanying himself on the lyre, which was an ancient. It was like not a ukulele, but it was like a stringed instrument. All right. Says in an age when actors and performers were seen as something unsavory, it was a moral outrage to have an emperor performing on stage. Worse still, Nero being the emperor, no one was allowed to leave the auditorium while he was performing, and they said he was boring. For whatever reason, the historian Suetonius writes of women giving birth during a Nero recital, and of men who pretended to die and were carried out. God damn, this dude was terrible. He was terrible. He was good and terrible. All right, so let's go to Revelation chapter 13 and verse 3. This says, and I saw one of his heads. So these heads is a representation of the seven heads. Now, when you understand prophecy, the seven heads, which represents the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, it's a conglomerate of Edomite nations that have had an empire going all the way back to the Greeks. You had the Greeks, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, Germania Major, Germania Minor, and Britain. Those are the seven major empires of Esau, or the so-called white man, so you could understand. All right. And one of those heads was wounded when? During the time of this vision, the last emperor of Esau was on the throne, for lack of better words, which was Domitian. And then from that point, Jake took over, the Israelites took over. But they still kept the old Roman ways. It wasn't until like around 325 AD when Constantine, embraced the religion of Christianity that it started to change. Okay. So from that point on, that head was wounded, as it were, to death. So this is dealing with the Roman Empire, because at one point the Roman rule was paused. It seemed like it was dead, but it was just paused. And his deadly wound was healed. When was his deadly wound healed? During the time of the Renaissance, which was the revival of the Edomites coming back into power from a low state, from caveman state, but also just not, from being slave servants, being brought up on charges like Esau does to Jake today. You have the court systems full of Jakes being brought in for petty crimes. Well, Jake was doing that to Esau back then, and these devils know the history, unlike you clowns that say different. It says, and all the world wondered after the beast. Why? Because the very first thing that they did was deceive the whole world by putting themselves up as being the Heavenly Father, his son, the angels, the Israelites, so on and so forth. Okay. So that deadly wound was healed. So when we jump down to the 11th verse, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. Now, this other beast that's coming up out of the earth is the same. It came back as, or in the same power structure as the sixth head, which is the Roman Empire. Or not the sixth head, but as this head that we read about here in the third verse. And I saw one of his heads, it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. So through the Renaissance period, which was the revival of the Edomites, which the word Renaissance means rebirth, which means to be reborn, they started to push their philosophies and their ways on the world. And from the British Empire, was born America, which came from there. But they still get their marching orders from England, but still they are separated from them in appearance. All right. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb. Now, this two horns like a lamb represents what they call the bipartisan system. The word bi is two, and partisan is party, two-party system, which is the Democrats and the Republicans. Back in the ancient Rome, you had the plebeians and the patricians. The plebeians were the Democrats of their day, and the patricians were the Republicans of their day. One of them for the rich, one of them for the poor. Now, they got that from what? From the ancient Roman Empire. And when you look at the structure of Rome and the way that it was created and run, the scripture in Daniel 7 says that it was different from all of the other beasts. Why? Because it didn't have the succession of rulers as they did in all those previous empires. Meaning the previous empires, you had a king that had sons, though they were known as a prince or prince, right? Or princess, meaning male prince, plural. All right, not princesses, and pretty much that's how it was run. So if the king died or something happened to the king, then the son or one of the sons would usually the eldest son would take the throne and he would rule. And that's how all the empires were ruled in the past. It wasn't until the Roman Empire that they started, this republic, and to elect, one man every year, or I believe in this case it was every year. Today, it's every 4 years, and that's how they would set up their order, so-called order and rule of their kingdom. Well, America does the same thing today, slightly a little different, but it's all still done from what? From a Senate, House, Congress, the president, vice president, so on and so forth. You have the military, and all of that was the same thing that was going on back during the time of the ancient Roman Empire. So in First Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 14 in the Apocrypha, yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple, meaning the Romans, although they had a lot of accomplishments, they didn't establish themselves as kings to be magnified thereby, like the other empires. That's why it said that it was different. Moreover, how they had made for themselves what? A Senate house. And if you type in on Google the Roman Senate house, you'll see that the Roman Senate house is set up similar to the American Senate house. They have those round seats. In Rome, they had the round seats. In the Senate, in the American Senate, they have the round seats, which is a representation of sun worship. All right. It says, wherein 320 men sat in council daily. These are your congressmen back then, ancient congressmen, consulted always for the people. Is that not what they say? To the end they might be well ordered. It says, and that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. Okay, so this is how the ancient Roman Empire was established, which is the same way that the American Empire is established. And when you go back to the so-called founding forefathers or the founding, robbers, murderers, thieves, cutthroats, they said that they wanted to establish the legislative system of America and their political system as the Roman Empire. They used that model. And why? Because it's prophecy. It says, and he spake as a dragon. A dragon represents cruelty. It also represents keen, being keen, being, watchful, sharp, right? It says, and he, meaning this other beast, exercises all the power of the first beast before him, which is what? The Roman Empire that was ruling during a time when, the Apostle John had this vision. So they took on and exercised all of the power from the first beast before them. Just like you see today, America, not every building in America is built like Rome, but the governmental agencies, municipalities, courthouses, senate houses, they're all built in the same style as the ancient Roman Empire. If you type in American governmental buildings, you're going to see the Roman pillars, which goes back to the Greeks, goes back to the Romans. And all of their buildings is like that. It's not a coincidence, it's prophecy. That's a title for a lesson for a brother out there. It's not a coincidence, it's prophecy, And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. And that's why you see all of their governmental buildings in that fashion, because it's a representation of them exercising the power of the first beast before them, which is what? The Roman Empire. And causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. And how do they do that? By establishing America in the fashion and legislative/political body of the ancient Roman Empire. They had gladiatorial games back then. You have it today. You had certain festivals. You have a lot of debauchery going on. And the same thing happened back then. Behind the scenes, you best believe that they having these, behind the scene orgies and all of that. They're not going to put that on Front Street, but it is going on, because this is, Rome all over again. It says, whose deadly wound was healed. So America, the other beast, the beast that came up, exercised the power of Rome. He caused the earth and them which dwell in to worship the first beast, because all nations have to comply with the American values and ways if they want to be a partaker in America. And what is the main thing that they push out there to the world? Democracy. Okay, it says whose deadly wound was healed during the time of the Renaissance. And from the Renaissance, which you had, Britain that came in that era, then eventually around so-called 1776, that's when America broke away, allegedly, from Britain, on not on paper, but just in appearance. All right. So that shows you that America is the same as ancient Rome. And this guy, Trump, is one of those Caesars in the back, back then, which is Nero. And that's why in this video here, the individual saying that in July of 2026, Trump wants to set up a celebration for America, to where he wants to, set up, the technological achievements of America, and set up certain festivals and revive the festivals. And because that's what, Nero did. Nero, had a lot of extravagant ways about him. And that's why the people loved him so much, because he gave them everything that they pretty much wanted. And he really wanted to get rid of that was Caligula. Caligula wanted to get rid of the Senate, but Nero, he was catering to the people, and everyone knew that the heart of the Roman Republic was their people, and when you watch the movie Gladiator, the first one, second one's about to come out, the people were saying, I think Commodus knows the empire, or the Roman Empire, something like that, because he knows the people. He caters to the people, something along those lines. And that's how you got the respect and the adoration, and the people sided with you when you did things for them, and that's pretty much what Trump is doing. He's catering to everybody, until he gets in office, and then we're going to see a shift, because he's not going, he'll accomplish certain things just to keep the people going, but his agenda is the agenda of the small hats. Okay, and whatever they say, that's what's going to go down. The brother put in SPQR. Yep, that's Senatus Populis Romanus, which is the Senate of the people, the Roman Senate of the people. It says it means the Senate of the Roman people. Yep, empire. That's right. And pretty much I'm gonna leave it there. There's not too much more to be said. If you want to watch some more of this video, you can. I just happened to catch this at the tail end of it. I said, you know what, Spirit just had me just click on it, and I was listening to it, and I said, oh, that's interesting. So when you get a chance, go back. You can start around the 58-minute mark, 58:30, but the point is around the 59, almost the hour mark. All right. So with and Barakatah Yahweh Shemal Shai allowed me to find it, to play it for you on this lesson. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.